All right, everybody, we're going to work on something a little bit different today. I think it'll be fun. I hope it'll be fun. Okay, so just your average Dollar Tree surface, whether you can find it in your area or not, I don't know. I bought this about a week and a half ago. Today is September the 17th. So we're going to see what we can do with this project. The first thing I want to do is get that rose there painted in with some gray so I can change the color of it. So I'm just going to mix some white and black paint together. And make a gray color that will just cover that up a little bit, and then we can paint it however we want it to look. Now these are just options of things for you to do, so I'm just mixing my black and white paint here. I'm going to get a gray value so that I can cover this up. Just going to paint right on top of that. This is a little bit of slick paper, but I think our paint's going to stick to it just fine. Try and smooth that out, and we'll let that dry. Okay, I think I want to work on the background before we do anything else. So I'm going to use my media fluid acrylics, and I think I want to do a kind of blue and black background. I'm not really sure what colors I'm going to put on my pumpkin yet. May make it traditional colors. And maybe a little bit of green in the background. So I've put out my Cobalt Teal hue. I think you can still get that one. Cobalt Turquoise hue. If you can't, then this one just by itself will be fine. Some green gold and some carbon black. So, and you don't need very much of these colors at all. I have way more paint out here than I'm going to need. Okay, so I think I'm going to grab a big brush. I've got a couple of big ones here, a flat one, a 20, and a 3/4 inch filbert. So I'm going to try and go with the flat brush here. And what I'm going to do is try and pre-dampen this. Let me see how the water is beating up on top of this, so hopefully it will adhere to this decently. And it's okay if we get some on our pumpkin. I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to start with some teal, some light teal, maybe some of that darker teal, which we can't really see the difference in, and some green. I'm going to grab a little bit more water. I definitely want the teal color more in the background. I do want to keep it off of my frame. You could tape your frame, and that way it won't get on it. But I'm just going to keep a baby wipe and wipe it off. Right up to your pumpkin. I'm going to put some black in it, but I'm going to wait until, oh, I forgot to dampen that. I'm going to wait until I get these colors in. And if it gets too much, you know, just come in with a baby wipe and remove some and lift it a little bit if you want to still see some of that background in there. But this media fluid is sticking very well to this. I'm going to go right over that moth. We'll probably try and do something cool with that moth. Wipe my brush off because I have a lot of paint on it. That's what I mean by you don't need much paint, because this paint goes a long ways. Okay, let me wipe the edge of this off. And I want to get a little bit of black in the background in a few places, so I'm just going to corner load and go in here and Put some black in. Maybe I should load that all the way across my brush because corner loading is laying down too heavy. You just put it wherever you want it. Before it dries, you can lift it with your fingers. Wipe my brush off so I can, actually I think I'll take my baby wipe, kind of tap that and soften it. May do some shading underneath that pumpkin. Okay, that looks pretty good. I like the background. We can do something fun with the frame. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with the frame, but we'll see if it's going to work out. I want to get this dry so that we can move on with our watercolor markers. Okay, these particular watercolor markers I got on Temu, and if you watch my first Temu art haul, you can see these on there, and I tell you the price and everything. I don't have that particularly in front of me now, so you might want to go check out that. I'll try to remember to link it below. I'm getting ready to do a second Temu art haul, so the first one I would try to link below. But I haven't used these yet. There's 48 colors in here, and they are a brush pen on one end, and then we got our fine, really fine nib on the other end. Try and get up there where you can see how little that is. It's a very fine nib. This is a 0.4 millimeter, and the brush tip says it's a 1 to 2 millimeter. So I'm going to grab some colors out of here that I think I'm going to want to use. Some traditional colors here. Maybe this color yellow. Those two colors are almost the same. I'll grab the brighter one. And it's up to you if you want to add, you know, if you've got watercolor markers. Tombow, I did a project with Tombow markers. Let's get a black and a brown. And I don't know, let's see, there's no, well, I don't know what we're going to do with that yet. I'm not sure what I want to do with the moth yet either, so I'm just going to work on colors for the pumpkin itself right now, and put out a few colors that I think will be fun in this pumpkin. Okay, I can always pull out more colors if I need to. This is a 48 color set. It is non-toxic, odorless, acid-free, water-based markers. So let's get in a little bit closer. Put this up. And I'm going to try and work on the stem first. And so I'm going to take my markers here. I might need a little bit darker brown than that. I'm going to put them on my palette. Let me move this over here so maybe I can keep my palette in shot. So I've got a couple of browns on here. Just color it right on your palette. And then I'm going to grab, I'd like to use an angle brush. So let's see if I've got, I'm going to use this 1/4 inch angle brush here. And I'm going to start putting some color. I'm going to mix these two, I think. So I'm going to pick up both on my brush, and I'm just going to start putting it on here like I would any other paint. You know, by loading my brush on the edge. Maybe put a little bit of green in there, a dark green. Just mixing it with the color that's on my brush. A little bit more of that brown. That's a lot of brown. So we kind of got a stem looking there. It's got some browns and greens in it, and we'll come back and darken or highlight that as we need to. Okay, let's go to our pumpkin. I'm going to make sure I don't have any water down here. Let me just clean this off right here, and I can have this space to use. I'm going to just put out several colors on my palette. Well, got a big mess of that palette. I'll just pull this paper over here. This is just a piece of palette paper here. I think I'm just going to put some colors out on it. So I'm going to put some oranges. A couple of oranges, I think, and a red. This one's a really bright orange. I'm not sure how well it will show up on this paper. And then this is a light orange. I'm just going to keep going over this place, you know, leaving ink, as much ink as I want. Let's get some red. Might want some red in our pumpkin, and we can color directly on here and then blend it out. And this is another red here. Ooh, that's bright and powerful. Okay, let's put some yellows out. I'm not really sure what colors I want to use on this pumpkin. This one's a golden, more of a golden yellow. Put a little bit more out of that one. And then this one. Ooh, that's bright. That's like neon. The color, it doesn't say any color name on these. I wish it did, but it doesn't. Okay, so I think we're going to start with those. And make it a little bit bigger brush for these. I think inside my eyes and stuff, I'm going to go directly to the surface, and maybe even in some of the areas on the pumpkin, like these more shaded areas, I might just go directly to the surface and put that color in. And then take my damp brush, and I'm going to start just kind of blending that out. I'll probably want that to be darker than what it is, but we'll just kind of blend that out a little bit. Any place that you want to keep a highlight, you can keep that area unpainted, or you can take your paper towel while the marker is still wet and lift it. The good thing about this particular piece is that it's already kind of got marked where your dark areas will be on this. So you can kind of tell where the shading is going to go on it. So I'm just putting the marker in those areas, and then I'm taking my brush, take the water edge, and kind of blend that. We'll make some of those areas darker, but this is just a good start. So, all right, let's put some down here. Your pumpkin can be any colors that you want it to be. You can really, you know, jazz this up with different details on it. Okay, right now I'm just going directly to the surface and then dampening my brush and then kind of just softening that out a little bit before it dries. So if you're a very slow painter, you might want to do just one small area at a time. You just kind of want to get to it before the pen has time to start drying on this particular surface here. It is coming together. Well, it's got a good start, I guess I should say. Now that I've got that gray, I may paint it white so that we can create a pretty flower on there. Maybe we'll take this from looking scary to looking super cute. Just my brush is pretty wet, and I've got quite a bit of paint still on it, or ink, watercolor stuff on it. So I'm just kind of moving it over, putting it in areas where I'd like to see it a little bit more. I'm still just using the corner of this brush, the very toe. That's the only area that I am using to blend out the paint. So already that is looking super, super cute. Okay, I'm going to put a quick coat of white paint on that flower up there now that it's dried. I might have to put 2 coats in order for us to get a cute flower up here. Smooth it out. Try and get as many of those lines out of there as possible. I want to get all the way to my edges without going over the edge. Okay. Well, let's add some color inside the eyes here. I'm not really sure what color I want to use in this. Maybe this darker orangey red color. Go with my smaller angle brush. We'll probably put some kind of glow in the eye there. So if you've got some watercolor brushes, this is a fun little project to use them on. Super fun! You just want to make sure that you smooth out areas while that marker is still wet on your surface. And we might paint inside the eyes and stuff maybe with some white. I don't know. I'd like to put a yellow glow in there, but I don't think I can do it on top of the black. So I want to go back up to my stem here and put some green in there and some dark brown. And now I'm just going to take my brush and blend those out a little bit. Give us a more variated color on our stem. Okay, that's looking cute. Let's add some other colors on here. while I have my yellows here, I'm going to go with that golden yellow and put some of this on here. So I'm taking it from my palette now, this golden yellow. Let me put some more of that out. That's my golden yellow. This one's my golden yellow. Could add a little bit of that light orange in there, but we'll make it a little bit more opaque. Just a tiny scooch of that. So I'm putting this on the rest of the pumpkin sections. Again, if you want to leave some areas open and light, don't fill them in with any of this ink or paint or anything. Okay. I think I'm going to dry this so I can set the watercolor that's in there. Hopefully this will set it to this paper. And then we can start adding some other layers on here. Okay, so inside the eyes here, I want to do a little bit of a lighter orange. So I put that really bright orange out here. I'm going to mix it with some of that more muted orange and see how that looks. It looks almost exactly like the color that I put in there. So I'll do something different with that. Make this yellow. Not really sure which yellow I put down there. This is just a brighter yellow. So I can cut that tag off so it doesn't get in my paint there. Okay, let's start adding some darker values on our pumpkin. So now I'm just going to go straight to my palette here. And I'm going to pick up this orange that we used to base in and some of this red, which I think was that red. And we're just going to create some darker areas. By mixing those two together makes a very pretty orange. So let's see, I think it was that one. And was it this one? No, that's the bright one. I got my colors all mixed up now. Not that one. So it was this one. Okay, so this one and this one are the two we're using here. Move the other ones out of the way so I don't get them confused and mixed up. It makes a very, very nice orange color here. Very, very pretty. I'm just going to go with the red back here. Okay, we still have some light areas on our pumpkin. It is looking so cute. So I want to take some orange and make this section a little bit more orange. And still have some highlights in there. I just want a little bit more orangey color on it. Okay, looking good, looking good. Okay, I want to do a little bit of shading underneath the eyes and mouth. So I've got my black marker out here. I could probably use a dark green as well. And then this reddish orange color that was up here. Let's see if I can make a dark shading color with this without getting it too dark. It needs to be a little bit darker. Just needs that touch more black in it. And oops, I don't want to go on the mouth. I want to go under the mouth. And then we can take a little bit of black, create our darkest areas. You know how I do that in my traditional painting, those little V areas that I like to have the darkest. This really should be a pretty quick little paint. Just want those shadowy areas to be pretty dark. Okay, did I get them all? Okay. Let's see that super bright orange. See if I can make that work on the pumpkin for giving it that super bright look. You can put some of your background color on here as well. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to go down to my moth and paint it in, because I think I'm going to use regular acrylic paint on the flower. But I think I want to put some purples, maybe some purples and pinks on the moth and make it different. I might do the same colors up there in the okay, that's my light purple. It's pretty light. dark purple is pretty dark. Let's see, our pinks. I have 3 pinks here. That looks almost the same color as that purple. I might want to change the colors of this to turquoises. Not sure I'm going to like these pinks on there. Let's see what I got for turquoise colors. Got 2 kind of turquoisey colors. Makes it almost the color of our background, which we could use those colors in there. Okay, I'm going to get a small round brush so I can take some of this and dab it onto the wings. Take some of this more teal. Put on the top wing. The bottom wing is more blue. We may put some iridescent stuff on here. It's like a skull on the back of its body right there. Okay, I don't know how well you can see the colors. Let me hold it up for you. Trying to keep the colors mostly in those areas that are white. That looks pretty good. I like that with those kind of teals and blues in it. You can use your media fluid that we use in the background to also do that. Okay, I'm going to dry that real quick. I got a little bit of thick water right there. I don't want it to run down. Okay. I think while I'm deciding on that flower, I'm going to shade around my stuff here. And I might just use my media fluid acrylics here. I really want to thin that down and get a sheer, work it into my brush just on that corner with water in my brush. Not a ton of water, but enough water that we can get it to a more transparent color. A little bit more, so I'm going to go to this area where it's a little bit darker of a wash. That's still not dark enough, so we might have to do straight paint here. I don't want to get it on my pumpkin, but we do want to create some shadow around it. Okay, I'll let that dry, and then I got to definitely widen that, deepen it a little bit. Let's put a shadow around our moth here. Give it a lifted look. That looks super cool. Let's do a little bit of a shadow here. I gotta figure out something to lighten that stem. Lighten the stem. think I'll go directly to the stem, maybe put some yellow. I'm not sure that's going to help. Let me get that lighter brown. I'm not sure that's going to help either because I think it's just going to turn it brown. So I'll probably have to highlight it with like some acrylic white. I can put some highlights on this as well. I think I will also do a little bit of shading on the moth wings, separate it from the body a little bit. Definitely need more black. Just want some separations here. And then I can go under this wing. So I can kind of separate the wings a little bit. You know, this is all extra detail that you can choose to do or not to do. I think it all helps. Okay, I need just a little bit more darkness on my pumpkin. It's not quite as dark as I would like, or orangey as I would like. This is that more red orange color. I know I already put my shading, my black in there, but this is not going to cover up that black. Remember, this is more transparent colors, so we can do multiple layerings on here. And I just want a little bit more orange. A little bit more orange on this one. I feel like it's too washed out. Okay, that looks much better. Alright, let me do my shadow down here one more time. And then we're going to work on that flower. And I probably will use acrylic paints on this. So this will definitely be a true mixed media piece here. I'm also probably going to shade on the inside of the paper next to the frame. I've got kind of an idea that I want to do with the frame, but we'll just see how it works out. Better. I'm going to use some of this and put a little bit of shadow around our flower. Not sure how much of that's going to show up, but we'll put a little bit on there. Okay, I don't know what color I want to make that flower, so, but I think I'm going to use just acrylic paint instead of markers or media paint. I think I'm going to try a purple flower. Now, I don't have purple anywhere on here, so I may add a little bit of a wash of purple on the pumpkin. This is a lavender. Now I'm just using my Americana paints for this. So we've used watercolor markers, we've used media fluid paints, and Americana paints on this project. And how fun is it? Let's dry that. I've got one other thing that I'm going to put on here after we do this flower. Now, I really don't know what kind of flower I'm going to paint on here because I don't really know what kind of flower it had on it. It was different. So I'm going to see if I can't kind of mimic it, but in a much prettier color. Okay, so while that is drying, I want to add something onto my moth. And I have the Enchanted, this is Shimmering Iridescent Top Coat, and the color is green. And it is so pretty, so I hope it's going to look good on this little moth guy. Don't need very much of this, but it's going to sparkle up. It really pops on black. So I'm just going to put it on the wings, not on the body. I do have some shimmering purple I might put on the flower just to shimmer it up. We have a couple places that are shimmery and kind of sparkly. So when that dries, it will be a shimmery iridescent color, so we'll let that dry. Let me dry my flower up here, and we'll see what we can do with this. So I've got a darker and a lighter purple here. I'm going to get 3/8 inch angle. Try something with a 3/8 inch angle. I don't know how well this is going to work, but I think I want to double load. I'll just have to move this in the camera. My toe into the light color, my heel into the dark color, and the dark color is transparent. That's Dioxazine purple. This is Lilac Lavender, or Lilac Meadow. Yeah, Lilac Meadow. So I don't know how well this is going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. So I want to create some wavy petals out here. I don't really know what kind of flower was on here. So we're just going to try and create a cute flower on here. So we're just giving double loading, kind of wiggling the brush a little bit as we makes the flower look like it has folds. This is the outside petals. So we've got one layer of petals on there. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. I think while it's drying, I might go ahead and do the outside of the edge with some black paint. This is just acrylic paint. You can use the media fluid also. And just darken up the outer edge. Just going to give it a little bit more of a finished look. You could do something fun to the frame as well. I kind of thought about doing that, but then I thought, you know, that might take away too much from the actual pumpkin itself, so I decided not to do that. Needs a little bit more down here. I think I had too much water on my first pass here. I might bring the corners out a little bit. Down to this one. I'm just putting more in the corners and kind of taking my brush and trying to round that out. I'm not really overly concerned with how messy it looks because, you know, the background is kind of messy. Just want to darken up the corners. Need a tiny drop of water, not too much, just enough that I can move this paint a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. Add whatever's left in my brush, kind of down the edges, wherever it feels like it needs it. Still keep it kind of Halloween looking. Okay, let's put a next layer in our flower here. Again, we're going to double load those two colors. The light purple on the corner, on the toe, and the dark color on the heel. I got too much water in my brush, so let me get that out. So light color on the toe, an angle brush, the part that hangs down low is the toe and this is the heel. And we're just going to go in with a second little layer. Again, we're just kind of going to wiggle it and jiggle it. Try not to cover up all your previous stuff there. A little bit more paint. I need some moisture. My paint is dragging, so that means I don't have enough moisture in my brush. This layer needs to come up a little bit more. Okay, I'll dry that because I want to put one quick small layer in the center. I think I'll go down to my smallest angle brush because it'll be a much tighter area. I don't know if I can get this loaded as well. Smaller brushes are just a little bit more tricky. This is going to be a very small wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then we'll just dot something in the center there. Come back and add a little bit of white highlight in there. We'll just put some black and white maybe. Give it a dark center. Okay, let me dry that. How's our moth looking? Maybe another layer of that iridescent on it. A little bit of white in the center. And then I think a tiny bit of white highlight on the flower. Just on a few of the petals. Just a little kiss of white. White must be getting a little bit dry because I'm not having any luck spreading that. Okay, that looks pretty good. The flower looks very pretty. Okay, let's see if I can get a little bit more iridescence on that. I can see it for me. Not sure you can see it. I did think about putting a highlight in the eyes, so I'm still considering that. Too much there. I really thought that iridescent stuff would show up a little bit better than it is. Okay, I think I need a little bit of highlighting on the stem and the pumpkin, and again I'm just going to go to my white acrylic paint and put a little bit of highlight on there. Maybe a little bit of highlight on our pumpkin. This is just white acrylic paint, and try not to have too much water, if any, in your brush because it's going to lift your watercolor paint. Okay, this is just a little bit of white. No, you know, your brush is damp, but no extra water in your brush. Go back over a few of these areas because kind of some of that orange kind of blended in with it. Okay, that was a lot. Just have it on the heel of my brush here. Okay, I think those highlights helped a lot. Looks really cute. I mean, you can take this and get a piece of a wood surface or even a cardboard surface and glue down some newspaper on there. Draw a pumpkin and go to town. This one just already had the drawing on it, so I thought it would be super fun to paint it on there. I'm going to try and put a little glow in the eyes, but I'm not really sure if it's going to work out. I'm just doing a little bit of a C stroke in there. Almost looks cross-eyed, but the way the eyes were drawn here, this is kind of the way it needs to go. That makes it look more evil. I don't know if I want to put some in the mouth or not. Let's see. I can wipe it out if I don't like it. Undecided there. I think I'll leave that out. Let's see if I can wipe that out without removing all my other paint. Okay, I didn't like that, so I'm just taking it out. So I think just doing the eyes is fine. Let's put a little highlight on the moth. It kind of needs a little highlight. Put a little bit on the head. I'm just going to go down the center of the back of the body there. I don't know how much of that's showing up, but little line here, but I do feel like the wings need a highlight. I don't know if that helped that moth or not. I think maybe the float goes too far over here. But I painted on top of that iridescent stuff, so I'm not sure I can take that off. And that iridescent, boy, I really want that to show up more. I mean, it shows up pretty good for me. I wish it showed up on camera. Even glitter paint, when I use glitter paint, it does not show up well on camera. Okay, do we want to put any iridescence on the flower because we can. We can do magenta. It's more metallic, or violet. Let's see, I painted them out here. That is magenta and that is violet. This is the one I put on the wings. So I'm a little disappointed it's not showing up as well. I'm not sure the iridescence is going to show up on the flower either, but I'm just going to tuck some down in the deep areas. And if it shows up, it shows up. If it doesn't, that's okay. Because the stuff, it works best on darker colors. The Deco Art holographic and those kind of paints. I'm not sure what colors they still carry online, but they do carry some. Coupon code below so that you can use 20% off. It's good till the end of December if you haven't used it, and it's only on items that are not currently on sale. So, alright, there we go. Our $1.25 pumpkin. That was just kind of plain. The flower, you don't have to do purple. Oh, I was going to put some purple in the pumpkin. Do a little wash in the pumpkin. So let me do that. Let me grab some purple. I'm going to mix my light and medium value. My medium value is what I base that in with. You'll have to go with just straight medium value because that other's not going to show up. And we'll put just some purple. You just put it here and there. Could take some of this purple and put it down on that thing. We could put some in the background to kind of bring it all together. So just put some purples in there. I might go ahead and put some of this in the background. And carry our colors throughout the project. I'm just using a small amount of paint here. This is the acrylic paint. Putting some in the background, kind of. This is going to make it more cohesive, bring all of our colors together. You know, do it messily. Do not do it controlled. And do it a couple times so that purple really stands out. And maybe one more time on a couple of places on the pumpkin. So it looks like lavender. Okay, I think we're looking pretty good here. I'm not going to put any on my moth, but I think that looks good. I'm happy with it. I think it looks super good, super good. Get that out of my shadow. All right, I feel like the purple's kind of taken over now. You could make the frame purple. It doesn't have to stay black. Okay, so I have decided to put words around the frame. I think it's going to finish it out. So I just wrote some random Halloween or fall words. I wrote trick or treat, boo, pumpkins, falling leaves, boo, scare, ghost, boo, skeleton, hocus pocus, boo. So boo is the theme on each side. So I just wrote them on with my chalk pencil. Now I'm going to use my Posca white pen. It's got a fine tip. It's not an ultra fine tip, it's just a fine tip. And I'm just going to write my words. Trick or treat. And they do not have to be neat. This is all handwriting. This is all fun. Let me shake up my marker a little bit. Alright, now I'm just going to go down each side and do my letters. I'm going to stay up on the tip of this as much as I can because, and not push down hard when I'm writing, because when it catches on the wood it makes some splatters. I used this one on another project, so I think it might be running out of paint. I do need to refill it, so I might do a video on how to refill your paint markers, at least this particular kind. And then after this is dry, which it should dry very quickly, I will erase my chalk lines. And then I can go back over them if I need to. But it's okay for me if the words are not perfect. You know, if the letters are a little faded and kind of weathered looking. Okay, yeah, that definitely finishes that out. So I'll dry this and erase my extra graphite lines that we can't see, and this is a done project, you guys. I absolutely love it. It turned out so cute. $1.25. Use what you have, whatever paints you have. I just wanted to kind of highlight the watercolor markers today, but we also used the media fluid and acrylic paints and a paint pen. So truly a mixed media project, but I loved that the paper was already on there, the pattern was already on there, and I just had to add my paint. So you guys go find yourself a Dollar Tree surface that's got something on it that you don't like, switch it over and paint the back, or paint over what's already there. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please subscribe, please give me a thumbs up, please leave a comment, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye bye everybody.